Beneath the surface of the world's oceans, far below sunlight and satellites, a U.S. Navy submarine moves slowly through the deep. It leaves no wake, it sends no signal, and it makes almost no sound. For the crew inside, days blur into weeks, weeks turn into months, and still the submarine does not surface. This is not science fiction. This is modern naval warfare. U.S. submarines are capable of staying underwater for months at a time, operating in total silence, completely hidden from the outside world. And that ability has reshaped global power in ways most people never see. To understand how this became possible, we need to go back to a time when the world lived in constant fear of nuclear war. After World War II, the United States and the Soviet Union entered a confrontation defined by uncertainty. There were no battlefields, no formal declarations, just the constant threat of annihilation. Both sides knew one thing: if nuclear war ever began, the nation that could strike back would survive. The problem was visibility. Land-based missiles could be targeted, air bases could be destroyed, but the ocean offered something else entirely. It offered invisibility. In the early Cold War, submarines were still limited machines. They relied on diesel engines. They needed to surface frequently, and every time they did, they were vulnerable. That changed in 1955. When the first nuclear-powered submarine was launched, everything about undersea warfare shifted. For the first time in history, a submarine no longer needed air to move. It no longer needed to refuel every few weeks, and it no longer needed to reveal its position. Nuclear power gave submarines something unprecedented: endurance. Inside a U.S. submarine, a nuclear reactor produces heat through controlled fission. That heat turns water into steam. The steam drives turbines, and those turbines propel the submarine silently through the ocean. There is no combustion, no exhaust, no dependency on oxygen. As long as the reactor is operating, the submarine can move. As long as there is food on board, the crew can survive. This is why modern U.S. submarines can remain underwater for months at a time. But endurance alone does not guarantee survival. In the undersea world, sound is more dangerous than fire. Water carries sound far more efficiently than air. A single mechanical vibration can travel for miles, and in wartime, that sound can mean death. That is why silence became the true weapon. Every system aboard a U.S. submarine is engineered with one goal in mind: make less noise than the ocean itself. Engines are mounted on floating platforms designed to absorb vibration. Pipes are insulated and wrapped. Machinery is carefully balanced to avoid resonance. Even something as simple as airflow is controlled to reduce sound. The submarine's outer hull is coated with special materials that absorb incoming sonar waves instead of reflecting them. These coatings distort enemy signals, making the submarine appear smaller, farther away, or not there at all. Then there is the propeller. At high speeds, propellers can create cavitation, tiny bubbles that collapse violently and generate noise. U.S. submarine propellers are designed to minimize this effect, even at operational speed. Inside the submarine, silence is a way of life. Crew members are trained to move deliberately. Doors are never slammed, tools are secured, footsteps are controlled. Even routine activities are planned around acoustic discipline, because one careless sound can undo months of perfect concealment. By the time a U.S. submarine reaches patrol depth, it is no longer just quiet. It is nearly indistinguishable from the ocean itself. And while it remains unheard, it listens. While a U.S. submarine stays silent, it is never blind. Instead of shouting into the ocean with active sonar, modern submarines rely on passive listening. They do not announce their presence, they simply absorb sound. Long sonar arrays run along the hull, constantly collecting acoustic data from the surrounding water. Every sound is analyzed, every vibration is classified. To a trained sonar operator, the ocean is alive with information. The rhythm of a propeller can reveal a ship's speed, its frequency can suggest its size, and its unique acoustic signature can identify its exact class, sometimes even the specific vessel. In many cases, U.S. submarines detect enemy ships long before those ships have any idea they are being tracked. This creates an extraordinary tactical advantage. A submarine can follow an adversary for days or weeks. It can record movements, gather intelligence, and remain completely unseen. But this silent dominance comes at a human cost. Life aboard a submarine is unlike life anywhere else on Earth. There is no sunlight, no fresh air from outside, and no real sense of day or night. Instead, crews operate on an 18-hour cycle, 6 hours on duty, 6 hours for maintenance or training, and 6 hours for rest. This keeps the submarine operational at all times. Space is extremely limited. Most sailors share bunks in a system known as hot bunking. When one sailor gets up, another takes their place. Privacy is almost non-existent. Communication with family is restricted and delayed. News from the outside world is filtered, and personal contact is rare. Yet morale remains surprisingly strong because every sailor understands the mission. Some U.S. submarines carry weapons designed never to be used. Ballistic missile submarines patrol silently with nuclear missiles on board, hidden somewhere beneath the ocean. Their exact locations are known only to a handful of people. The purpose of these submarines is not attack, it is deterrence. As long as potential enemies know that a retaliatory force cannot be found or destroyed, a first strike becomes impossible. That uncertainty is what prevents war. In this way, silence becomes a form of protection, not just for one nation, but for the entire world. Even in the age of satellites, drones, and cyber warfare, the deep ocean remains the last true blind spot, and U.S. submarines dominate it. They escort carrier groups without being seen. They monitor rivals without detection. They gather intelligence without leaving evidence. And they do it quietly. Somewhere beneath the waves at this very moment, a U.S. submarine is on patrol. Its crew unseen, its mission classified, its presence unknown. Not seeking attention, not seeking recognition, but standing guard in silence. Because in modern warfare, the most powerful weapon is not always the loudest. Sometimes it is the one you never hear at all.